When war or natural disaster strikes, it's volunteers who respond. For 4 months, our cameras had exclusive access to Red Cross delegates at work in some of the world's major trouble spots. This is their story. Delhi's a long way from Hokitika, but that's exactly where you'll find Bob McKerrow these days, running budgets of hundreds of millions.
Yeah, you'll understand it. Tell me, has the chairman approved of the tsunami rehabilitation budget yet? I'm leaving early evening to the Maldives and Sri Lanka, so if there's any further information on, construction, just send me a note.
Bob's been kicking around the South Asia region for nearly 30 years, much of it in Afghanistan. He never planned on a career like this. It just kind of turned out that way.
My dream in those days was to do this work for 10 years and sort of retire as sort of head of a national park somewhere in a remote corner of New Zealand. I did that for a while, but something about this work that does call you back again. This part of the world is very much like my home, very much like my patch in a way. Afghanistan, Nepal, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the Maldives Islands.
Bob still has family in New Zealand and gets back once a year, but his life is here now. And as boss of the entire South Asia region, the job often means lots of time away from home.
Okay, see you in a few days' time, 10 days' time. Say hi to the kids, eh?
Okay, have a good trip.
Bob doesn't enjoy having to leave the wife and kids, but that's just part of the job. Next stop, an overnight flight to Sri Lanka.
Bye.
Sri Lanka is just another country Bob's responsible for. There have been many operations run here, but nothing comes close to the help that was needed after the tsunami. As a result, Bob's had to spend plenty of time out with his troops.
Yeah, I'm on the road 40 to 50% of the time. I try to organise a bit of a gap between the trips. Like this time I'm away for about 12, 15 days. And the team here, they've been to hell and back. No sleep for the first 2 weeks. Families almost threatening divorce. These guys phone me up at 3 in the morning with their problems. So my role is important because they report to me.
This line of work isn't easy, but Bob's been at it for more than 30 years now, which is heaps longer than Lena Eskeland. But she's certainly no rookie.
I was actually on a holiday when this happened. I was on a holiday after a long mission, and I wanted to come here. It felt wrong to be on a holiday when I saw all of this on TV. But still, you really have to be a part of the team, because me as one individual, I'm only a tiny little part of a big machinery, and if I don't play my part within that machinery, it doesn't work.
First stop is to an old mate of Bob's. The tsunami's left plenty of carnage that still needs to be cleaned up, and getting a visit from the top dog is a real morale booster for the local team.
How are you today?
Hi, Mr. Bob.
Good
Fine,
to see
very
you.
good, yes.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you in my branch.
Good,
Yes.
thank you. And great work,
Yes.
huh?
We are doing a cleaning program today.
And these are all your volunteers?
All the volunteers, but some are victims.
Yeah. So many...
Some are- yeah.
Now it looks very nice.
Yeah, now it's very nice. We are working very hard. Our volunteers working very hard. We are doing a good job.
Can you just show us around
Yes.
and just see the work they're doing?
Yes.
So they remove, they remove all the bricks.
Yes. This big.
So this was, what, a house before?
Yes.
The tsunami killed more than 30,000 people here and left 500,000 more homeless. Cleaning up is a huge job, especially when you've got to do it all by hand like this. Bob and Lena want to start the rebuilding process, but first of all, the carnage needs to be moved away.
I mean, this work here is to me what Red Cross is about. This is real back-breaking work. People are digging, and it's not easy work. How many hours a day do they work?
They are working 5 hours per day.
5 hours a day.
Yeah.
What I see here reminds me of the war-affected countries that I've seen, where you have bombs destroying huge areas, huge cities. I've never seen any natural disaster destroying this big areas. But the people who used to live here, where do they live now?
Now they don't like to live here. They want to move to the land.
They are now in temporary, they are in tents somewhere, and they want to move permanently back further away.
Yeah. You know why? Now they are afraid every day earthquake and tsunami and so. Then they said we want to permanent mind clear.
But I mean, this psychological problem, I mean, that's one of your main programs. You have volunteers that are trained in psychological counseling.
Psychological counseling, yeah.
So
American Red Cross, they are now 3 volunteers coming from the American Red Cross with our volunteers. Next week we have to make a program, psychological program.
So in this area alone, this small area, 2,500 people were killed. In Sri Lanka, nearly 38,000 killed. So how do you work with these people? They've lost their father, they've lost their mother, their brother, their sister. I mean, it must be difficult. I mean, do you meet these people? Do you talk with them?
Yes, very difficult, but all the time they are smile now. Only smile.
Most people want to do the spectacular work.
Yeah.
But this work, if we don't get these sites cleaned, we can't rebuild houses. And people are putting pressure on. They're putting pressure on us to rebuild houses.
What we'd call a garden shed is now to many here the family home. Getting things back on track is a priority for Bob and Lena. This place is due for some good news.
You hear lots of stories which are quite hard to digest. You hear stories about people who held on to their children, who held on to their mothers who couldn't swim and they lost them. And I think sometimes one of the challenges is to not let the stories get to you, because then you're not efficient, are you?
Bob's used to seeing the worst the world has to offer. It's certainly a far cry from life back home.
I miss home a bit, more than a bit. When I get off the plane, you know, the first bit of grass I see, it's normally in Christchurch. I get down and put my forehead on it, and within an hour I'm munching on a pie. That's being back home. And then in the evening, get into my first jug of beer.
Bob and Lena have made it to the warehouse. It's the last stop for relief supplies from around the world before they're handed out to those here that need them. It's also a chance for Bob to meet another member of the team.
Hi, good to see you. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Bob. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the Gully Area Warehouse.
There are literally thousands of boxes of supplies in here, all bought with donated dollars. Inside are the kind of everyday things we take for granted. It's certainly a lot of stuff to keep track of.
The hygiene kits are always a need because they're consumable, so in the month when they run out, they will need more.
What sort of feedback have you got from the beneficiaries? Have you had a chance to talk to them?
Yes, we have. We took a small focus group, if you will, of women, since women are the primary recipients of the distribution items at the distribution, and we asked them what they liked and what they didn't like in each of the hygiene kits that we've received through the Federation.
So what were the things they liked? I mean,
they really liked the towels, they liked the soap and the toothbrushes and the razors for their husbands.
We're getting it together. I mean, 20 years ago, I remember air conditioners turning up after a hurricane in Fiji, you know, no electricity. So, you know, it's good to see that
come a long way in 20 years.
We've come a long way,
yeah.
and we're getting the right things out there, and if there's a complaint, next time we improve it.
This operation runs like a well-oiled multinational company. Bob's in charge of spending over $500 million on the tsunami operation in Sri Lanka alone. Today's distribution is happening here. It's been voted one of the world's top 10 beaches. The whole place got swamped by the tsunami and destroyed the livelihood of those still alive and living here. The need for help is obvious. This is the good part for people like Lena and Stacey.
Why do we bother to do this work? Because I think that it can make a difference in people's lives and help them to heal and move forward from the tragedy and the trauma that they've experienced.
It makes me happy. It makes me happy to see that sometimes we are slow, sometimes we can do things better, but every time I see these kind of activities, with the volunteers providing the services, with the energy that they do to the people who have suffered more than I think any of us can imagine, and the help is actually coming to them. That makes me happy to see.
You know, it's very fulfilling. It's very rewarding. I mean, you can be tired and exhausted, but you really, it's this sense of gratitude that you have the opportunity to be of service.
Distributing what's needed is the job of these local volunteers, but that doesn't stop Bob.
New Zealand, Sri Lanka. No drop catches.
That's one boss who really enjoys getting out of the office.
Right now we're going to distribute to 550 families in the Galle district here in Sri Lanka. So we'll do a variety of non-food items today that are some of what I mentioned, mosquito nets and blankets and bed sheets and hygiene kits and baby kits and things that will help them sustain a little longer, you know, through this relief to recovery phase of the disaster.
It's not Stacey's job to identify the families most in need of help. That belongs to these local volunteers. After that, it's a process of getting everyone registered, organised and then sorted out. Getting this to happen requires a complete team effort.
Well, in the last 5 years here, we've run 2 flood relief operations, 1 landslide operation and 2 drought relief operations. So we know the people, we know the culture, and more importantly, we know the national society. And these people live at community level, they feed back to us what they need. So, yeah, we pretty much know what's needed. We do make the odd mistake, like we put toilet paper in the kit and it's not really needed, but a little bit of tweaking required every now and then.
The high tide mark on Bob's shirt might look like he's been dunked upside down in a pool, but it's really earned from good, honest toil. This country's weather is as hot as its food.
No, it'd be about 38 today, but it's the humidity. And you know, throwing a few boxes around, the knees aren't what they used to be. But I've got these 2 wonderful women here that are helping me, so that makes life easier.
Bob's not the only one in a good mood. Days like this leave a smile on everyone's face. That's why these operations exist.